G'day, Greg here from Custom Guns. As part of our series on shotgun basics, we're going to have a look at chokes. Let's go take a little look.
So here's some chokes we've got from a shotgun with removable chokes, and this is the full set. Looking here, we've got from left to right, the first choke we're looking at is cylinder number 5. It has essentially no restriction. The choke itself is the same profile as the barrel, so the shot mass will travel through that basically unrestricted and travel out and open up very quickly. It's designed for short range use. Next one, number 4, and I'm terming number 4 is coming from the amount of nicks on the side. You'll see the little nicks on the side of the choke. That helps you identify which one it is. So number 4, it has what they term improved cylinder, IC, or 1/4 choke. So a small amount of restriction. This would be used to give you a little bit more range than the cylinder choke. The next one along is what is known as modified or half choke. So you have 3 nicks in it, identifying it as modified. The next one along, number 2, you have is improved modified. So that is also known as 3/4 choke. So modified's half choke, improved modified 3/4 choke. Of course, leaving the last choke there, number 1 or full choke. So full amount of restriction meaning as tight as is possible. Cylinder, the least amount of restriction, and then varying amounts of restriction in between.
Okay, so we've got varying amounts of restriction. Well, what's the use of that? Why are we doing that? Well, if you have a think about the restriction, the purpose of it is to extend the range of the shot. So if we used a 30-inch round circle as our target, and we said, okay, I want most of my shot inside that 30-inch round circle. If the shot leaves the barrel and there's no restriction, it's going to start spreading out. Now it'll reach about that 30-inch circle at probably 10 or 15 meters. So it gives you only quite short range. By putting the restriction at the end of the barrel, it's tapered inwards and it's going to squeeze the shot together, holding the shot further, and it will travel at close together and travel more at a greater distance. So your 1/4 restriction, improved cylinder, that's going to have that shot go out to say 15 or 20 meters. The half choke, modified, it may be out to 20, 25 meters. 3/4 choke, maybe 25, 30 meters, 35 meters. And then your full choke, 35 to sort of 45 meters. Those distances are somewhat critical. If you're sitting in the mai looking at, okay, well, where are the ducks going to be coming in? How much range have I got? Where are they going to be more likely that I'm going to be shooting at them? It'd be important to select the correct choke to be able to shoot at that distance. If you have too open a choke, you're going to have only a small amount of pellets, if any, hit the bird, and you're likely to miss, even though the shot may have been aimed correctly. You're not going to have enough pellets in the shot, in that pattern, for it to be effective. You may only get 1 or 2 pellets hit the bird, and the bird's going to fly on injured. Not ideal. So we want to choose the appropriate choke to get our range correct and have the right size, the right amount of pellets at that range. If you have too tight a choke and we're shooting at a bird that's very close, you have to be really precise with your aim because it's so close together. And of course, the whole idea of using a shotgun is that it's able to account for your abilities to aim at a moving target. It gives you that little bit of a margin of error. So it's important to get the size of the pattern to be appropriate. It leads us on to another thing. I was talking about ducks. Now, waterfowl, all shot over water in New Zealand, have to be shot with non-toxic shot. That means steel shot. You have got other options, but mostly it's going to be steel. Now, steel shot, the important thing with chokes, and the thing to think about is, with steel shot, it's different to lead. These shotgun chokes are applicable to lead shot. The difference with lead and steel is that lead's quite soft. It's going to travel through the choke, it's going to be squeezed in, and if it were to go, say, through that full choke, it would be squeezed in quite a way, and being soft lead, it's going to deform and squash in together. Now that's okay for lead because it's quite soft, especially compared to the steel that your barrel's made out of. So it's going to squeeze that in, and it's going to mean you're going to be able to shoot a long way. If you shoot steel shot through too tight a choke, steel, of course, is only going to compress. So that steel is going to have to go somewhere, and it usually means it's going to end in damage to the end of your barrel. If you shoot steel shot through a choke restriction tighter than modified, you're likely to damage your gun. The modified choke, number 3, is as tight as you should go for steel. That means it gives you a bit of restriction, about half the restriction that you can with lead, and it's still going to be okay for steel shot. It will compress it in a wee way, and it'll give you more range without compromising the safety of you and the mates that you're shooting with, and of course damaging your firearm. So something to consider. Alright, hopefully you've learned a little. If you have any other questions, need some information, come on down and see us. We are at Custom Guns, 127 Yarrow Street, out the front of Status Guns, where we've got probably the most comprehensive workshop you're ever likely to see. So all your gunsmithing needs taken care of. If you need to have a look at some shotguns, want to check out our rifles, need some ammo, accessories, whatever you like, whatever you need, we've got a lot. Come down and see us. My name's Greg. Hope to see you again soon.